I share an iCloud account with my mom, and one day I went on recently deleted to retrieve a photo I accidentally trashed, and I came across selfies of her and a man I had never seen before. At the time, she was visiting our home country for about a month, while my father, sister, and I were not. I also found a screenshot of text messages that sounded flirtatious, but this was in our native language, which I'm not fluent in. So I thought maybe I misread the text and ignored it. A couple of weeks later, I had this intuition to check the recently deleted album, and lo and behold, I found more photos of just my mom and the same man. I told my sister and she agreed that it was suspicious, but we did not have enough evidence, so I decided to wait until she came back. The day after she returned, I checked her phone while she was showering. Her password has been the same for years, so that's how I unlocked the phone. To my absolute horror, I found inappropriate photos of my mother, wanted to jab my eyeballs out. I was shocked because my immediate and extended family are religious, and I always thought of my mother as pious because that's her whole persona and how she presents herself. This is the same woman who would not let me and my sister use tampons because it's impure. Meanwhile, homegirl is out here taking inappropriate photos for a man who isn't her husband. I also found more text messages with the mystery man and took photos from my cellular device of her phone screen with the texts on full display, and I temporarily recovered the inappropriate photos and airdropped them to my phone before deleting them again. I've always had a tumultuous relationship with my mother because she was mentally, and to a lesser extent, physically offensive to her children, and she's a narcissist who prioritizes herself over everyone and everything. However, I never thought she would stoop so low to cheat on my dad, who is the main breadwinner of the family, with another man, especially because he has a wife and kids. I confronted my mom about the affair while my dad was at work, and it turned into a screaming match. I poured not boiling water on her, and she stormed out of the house. She complained about my behavior to my dad, but the reasoning my mom told him was about me having a bad attitude for no practical reason, and not the actual reason, her infidelity. I got scolded by my dad, but I kept my mouth sealed because I did not want to tell him about the affair. I pitied him because he works 12+ hours in a hot factory almost every day, and he even went out of his way to cook healthy food for my mom to eat because she's diabetic, tidied their room, and washed the blankets so that she would come home to a clean house. My mom kept complaining about me to my dad, even though I tried to avoid her after our fight, and a part of me thinks she did this because she wanted my dad to scold me and side with her. Also, she knew I was going to accept the scolding without saying anything because I told her that I was not going to be the one to tell him about the affair. My mom was also furious that I told her oldest sister about her infidelity. I only did this because I'm the closest to her emotionally and geographically on her side of the family, and I needed advice on what to do. Eventually, I had enough of my dad scolding me when I barely even interacted with him and my mom on a daily basis, and he threatened to stop helping me pay for school, $6,000/year private school, which was the agreement we made in exchange for me to stay in-state and help him run his factory. My argument with my dad turned physical, which has rarely happened in the past. And this surprised me because he was the more stable and nurturing parent. At this point, I was angry and had enough of both of their bull crap. I yelled back that he's dumb for fighting with his daughter over a woman who cheated on him. I even showed him all of the photographic evidence that I had, and he still told me that he did not believe me. My dad thinks I photoshopped the screenshots like, dude, I took photos of her phone screen. My mother also denied that it was an affair because according to her, there was never any direct physical contact. Fast forward to today, my parents are still together, and they pretend that nothing ever happened. I still barely interact with either of my parents, but when I do, it's cordial and not hostile. I think my parents feel guilty for whatever reason because I randomly found a gift card from Starbucks at my desk and they sent me allowance money, which is unusual for them to do. They can send as much allowance they want because I don't give a flying duck and their bottom are going straight to the retirement home when they're old and senile. Conclusion: if anyone is experiencing a similar situation, I sympathize with you, and honestly, I'm not opposed to telling the parent who got cheated on, but not all situations are the same. Every family dynamic is different, and I suggest taking that into consideration before making a decision. It sounds like you've been through an incredibly challenging and emotionally charged situation. Dealing with infidelity within a family can be extremely difficult and complex. While I'm not a professional therapist, I can offer some general advice on how to cope with this situation and move forward. 1. Seek professional help. Given the complexity of the emotions and relationships involved, it might be beneficial for you to seek the guidance of a professional therapist or counselor. They can provide you with the tools to manage your emotions and navigate your family dynamics in a healthier way. 2. Focus on yourself. Your emotional well-being should be a priority. Make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Engage in activities that bring you joy and help you process your feelings. 3. Set boundaries. Given the history of your tumultuous relationship with your mother and the intensity of the situation, it's important to establish clear boundaries. This might mean limiting interactions that are triggering or emotionally harmful. 4. Communicate openly. If you feel comfortable, consider having open and honest conversations with your parents. Express your feelings, but try to approach the conversation with understanding rather than hostility. Remember, communication can sometimes help in clearing misunderstandings. 5. Respect their choices. Ultimately, your parents' relationship is their own, and they may choose to handle it in their own way. While it's difficult, try to respect their decisions and choices, even if you disagree with them. 6. Focus on your future. It seems you've made decisions about your future, like continuing your education and planning for your own life. Concentrate on your personal goals and growth, and don't let the past define your entire future. 7. Forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning or forgetting what happened, but it can help release the hold these emotions have on you. It's a personal process and may take time. 8. Support system. Lean on friends, other family members, or a support group to help you process your feelings and find a safe space to express yourself. 9. Journaling. Consider keeping a journal to document your thoughts and feelings. This can be a therapeutic way to express yourself and track your own emotional progress. 10. Focus on your well-being. Remember that the actions of your parents don't define you. Your worth and value are separate from their choices. Remember, it's okay to feel a wide range of emotions, and healing takes time. If you find that your emotions become overwhelming or you're struggling to cope, don't hesitate to seek professional help. A therapist can provide you with personalized strategies to manage your emotions and navigate this challenging situation. Not necessarily recommend telling the parent. Well, I will disagree with you here. I think if you told your dad directly after finding out instead of letting your mother lie, it would have probably changed a lot, but we will never know. But I agree with you, if you have crappy parents, don't waste your time trying to make them change, cut them off, and spare yourself from this mess. To be honest, I don't think that would have changed anything because he enables her behavior. I'm not opposed to telling the parent who got cheated on, but I don't recommend it for every situation. All family dynamics are different, and I think that should be taken into consideration before making a decision, especially because there are some people who will still stand by their spouse and stay married, even after it's revealed that they got cheated on, like my father. And if that's the case, then maybe it's better to not know. Yeah, but that's their life, and for them to decide. Would you let someone else make an important life decision for you? Like, would you let your sister decide how many kids you will have, where you will live, with who you will get married? Then would you let your kids/family/friends decide if it's better or not for you to stay with your cheating partner? If they decide to stay, that's on them, but maybe for some, it will open their eyes and push them to change and improve their life. Lesson: if you as a third party learn of infidelity, don't confront the cheater. Inform the one being cheated on and let them handle it themselves. I do wonder what would have happened if I confronted my dad first, and even though I had photographic evidence, I still wanted to be wrong about everything, which was why I confronted my mom before instead. Maybe that was a mistake. I would never withhold information like that from a parent. I'll never understand that mentality, especially from BS to OBS. Well, if the cheater is a narcissist and their spouse enables their behavior and stays in the marriage, what's the point of telling them? I was simply the messenger and was made out to be the villain by both parties. Like I stated, every family dynamic and situation is different, so the reactions shouldn't be the same. Understood, but giving him the information and letting him decide for himself is the right thing to do. Everybody copes differently. He may do nothing now but tell her to fick off down the road. It's just the right thing to do. He's an avoidant personality. Can be a disorder. As I read your post, I was thinking that your mom was real bold to keep going on about your argument while paying no mind to the truth dangling just there. But it would seem your mom knew your dad is willfully ignorant, and this is why she had no care about that. Google avoidance plus psychology, and you'll find some info on this thing you're dealing with, and it's good to look into it because it is bizarre behavior to witness. He would likely memory hole it even if he walked in on her in the act. If she is legitimately narcissistic personality disordered, as you mentioned, may be the case. Your dad would most likely be a rather heavy codependent personality to act in the way he is. Worldwide comments of the day. When a woman blatantly disrespects you like this and gaslights you, there's no need for communication. Just pack up and leave her, without saying a word. Doesn't matter if breaking up flips your world upside down. Her cheating and disrespecting you is already flipping your world upside down. Flip her world upside down and don't show any emotion and leave. This will drive her insane. She said I was insecure and controlling. I accepted that and laid off. Men, can you feel any sympathy? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and relatable Reddit videos.